Hey everybody, it's Jordan here with Major Hi-Fi, back again with another review. Today we've got the Sony MDR-M1 headphones, which I'm super excited to talk about with you today. But first, I just want to remind you to like and subscribe down below. Everyone helps. It'll help us grow the channel, and it'll help you get more videos just like these right in your feed. So let's start out by talking about the Sony MDR-7506 first. The MDR-M1 is maybe a successor to this or maybe a step up to this, but I think it's a good idea to get the baseline of these Sony headphones down because they borrow a lot in aesthetics as well as purpose, and I think that's really important. So the 7506 has been around for years, since 1991 to be exact, and they've been serving audio professionals for that long. I mean, a headphone doesn't stay around that long for no reason. The MDR-M1 is a little bit different, and the first difference is that it's $249 versus the $99 price tag of the MDR-7506, but it also has some sonic features that are different as well as some build upgrades that make this a little bit of a step up. So we'll get into all of that and more in this review coming right up. In the box, you get the Sony MDR-M1 headphones, a 1.2 meter headphone cable, a 2.5 meter headphone cable, a 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch jack adapter, and a reference guide / warranty card. The MDR-M1 focuses on comfort and durability primarily with its build. They weigh in at about 216 grams, which is exceptionally light. So if you're a music producer wearing these for long hours, or an audiophile on the go who wants to wear these on their commute or anything like that, they're going to be super lightweight, easy to wear, very comfortable. And especially with that 1.2 meter cable, these can be pretty portable. You're not walking around with one of those giant studio cables that can feel like you're walking with a leash on or something like that. As far as comfort goes, Sony has completely rethought their ear cups and headband to be a lot more comfortable, a lot softer. And so if you're wearing these for a long period of time, you're not going to get fatigue. You're not going to get ear soreness. I even think the ear cups are a little bit bigger. So just an overall more comfortable experience, to be sure. And I should also add that this ear cup implementation also improves ambient noise reduction as well as leakage. So we'll get into that in the design. So just thinking about the build in terms of upgrades from the MDR-7506, you're getting those softer ear cups, softer headband, just a more durable feeling build while being a little bit lighter at the same time. But you are going to sacrifice one major portability factor, which is that the MDR-M1 does not fold like the 7506 does. So if you wanted to bring these on the go, they're still perfectly fine for that. Again, they're lightweight, they're super comfortable, and if you're going to be wearing these most of the time, then it doesn't even matter. But if you did want to fold them up to make them more compact in your bag, the MDR-M1 won't do that. Overall, though, the MDR-M1 is quite a bit more comfortable and more luxurious feeling. In this regards, I think this is the biggest improvement over the 7506 that the MDR-M1 offers. The MDR-M1 comes with Sony's new 40mm neodymium magnet driver, which means that it's going to get an impressive frequency range of 5 Hz to 80 kHz, which is important for a headphone like this to make sure you're capturing all the frequencies, especially if you're a music producer. You want to make sure you're capturing everything that's on the track. Pair that with Sony's beat response control, and you're going to get tight and punchy bass without sacrificing any mid-range or top-end clarity. Another really cool part of the MDR-M1's technical design is its advanced sound localization capabilities, which means if you're a producer trying to figure out mic placement or sound placement in terms of where things sit in the mix, these are going to be really good for that. And that should, in theory, help the soundstage, but really it affects imaging more than soundstage. It's where things actually appear in the mix relative to the width of the sound. And we'll get more into that in the soundstage section of this review. But just know that Sony has taken that into consideration with these headphones, and that's another place where it potentially improves over the 7506. So getting into the sound impressions, I'll start off by just saying that the MDR-M1 is a bit warmer, but more balanced than the 7506. In the bass range, you get a little bit stronger of a bass response. So the sub bass is a lot more dynamic. There's plenty of punch. Meanwhile, the mid bass has a nice bloom to it that adds musicality. So you're getting this two-pronged approach from the bass response. You're getting an articulate, fast, and detailed sub bass mixed with a musical mid bass, which creates a really engaging sound signature, but also for a music producer allows you to get a sense of the feel of the track while not diminishing the detail retrieval capabilities. Furthermore, bass guitars, low-end synths, low-end instruments like cello, pretty much every genre is really well served by this low end because it gives you a sense of dynamics. And I don't mean dynamics as in punchiness or speed, but just a sense of the full width of what your track is bringing. And that can be really cool for audiophiles to hear too, is the realistic sound that a producer is hearing. A lot of higher end mixing and mastering headphones do this. It's cool to see it end up in the MDR-M1 too. Now, like most warm headphones, the mid-range is a key part of that too. But I wouldn't say that the mid-range is timbrely warm in the way that the bass response is. I think there's a sense of warmth that comes out just by the sheer forwardness and clarity of the mid-range. You really feel its presence. The lower mids transition from the mid-bass beautifully. There's not really any sense of overlap or muddiness that can come from it. Usually when the mid-bass is so pronounced, there can be some overindulged bloom or something like that, but on this headphone they stay separated and there's a really nice transition. Getting into the upper mid-range, vocals are perfect. There's so much detail with the vocal presentation and so much room and separation. It's just a really nuanced mid-range. I'm happy for it to lean warm if this is the response you're getting. And again, this sense of separation and space in the mid-range is really important for mixing and mastering, as a lot of information is happening there. You want to make sure vocals are cutting through the mix the right way. So just overall, this is really important that these mids are a little bit cleaned up and a little bit more forward. Some might prefer that scoop on the MDR-7506 in terms of listening playback for audiophiles. It's a little more exciting. And some music producers might even prefer it for like electronic or something like that, where vocals are less important and you really want to get the feel of the track from like a more assertive bass response or clearer treble. On this headphone, I don't think you're going to get a weakness in those categories, but I could understand why the 7506 might have its perks. Like a V-shaped headphone might have perks over this. That said, I think the mid-range is really, really nice for professionals and audiophiles alike. And then getting into the top end, again, things lean towards the neutral warm side. There's a feeling of a dip in the top end that I think comes from just how forward the mid-range feels, but I don't think there's actually too much of a dip there. It feels pretty linear, and I would say that one of the most impressive things about this headphone is how coherent it sounds across the frequency range. So this means that treble does sit back in the mix, but that doesn't mean there's a sacrifice to any clarity. A specific track I'm thinking of is Before Your Very Eyes by Atoms for Peace, which has a lot of treble layers, and it can be a little overwhelming at times on certain headphones. On the MDR-M1, I never lost any detail or any faith to the reproduction of the treble, like cymbal hits, or there's like a click track that has an upper register. They never really blend together, like they stay separated really well, but they also never fatigue. They stay in their lane where they should be in the mix. And then finally getting to the soundstage, like I promised earlier. So the soundstage is not the widest you're gonna get. It's a $250 closeback monitoring headphone. And so you're gonna get a realistic sense of space, but you're not gonna get the widest sense of space. However, like I said earlier, you're gonna get a really nice sense of imaging. So mic placement, location of instruments, that's all going to be really cool to experience on this headphone for you. I also think that might be helpful in gaming in terms of getting a sense of space. It might not be the widest experience, but it's certainly going to have really good localization of sounds. So overall, what do we think of the Sony MDR-M1 headphones, especially in relation to the MDR-7506? Well, they're just two completely different headphones. I do think that in a lot of ways the MDR-M1 is an upgrade in that it's better build quality, and I think it does want to be in the same family as having the MDR nomenclature and design aesthetic would imply. This is just a little bit more of a mature headphone, a little better suited for all types of listeners. I think both have their advantages, and as an entry-level headphone, the 7506 is a great choice. But if you want to take that step up into a more balanced and cohesive sound, then the MDR-M1 is a pretty nice headphone for that. So thank you for tuning into this video again. I'm Jordan with Major Hi-Fi, and we appreciate all your support. So definitely go ahead and like and subscribe. It helps us. It'll get more videos like this into your feed. Everybody wins. And definitely tune in next time for our next video. Thanks for watching.